And for those of you sat there right now saying there's no link between the owners and the performances on the pitch, well, there is a link. The link is quite clear. If you look back to the summer transfer window, Manchester United and Ten Hag wanted Harry Kane to be signed by Manchester United so they can have a goal scorer, because Erik Ten Hag knew that the biggest problem for Manchester United has been that we haven't got enough goals in the team, and that's why he wanted Kane. What happened? The owners, the Glazers, did not sanction a move for Harry Kane. Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you're doing well. It's the day after we lost 1-0 against Crystal Palace at Old Trafford at home. And what went wrong? There's so much to talk about. I don't know whether I can actually fit it into one single show. There's so many questions coming out as a result of that loss to Crystal Palace. What went wrong? Manchester United looks like it's just gone into complete and utter chaos. The team, the manager, the board, everything just seems to be up in the air. Nothing seems to be going right. Why? We'll discuss that and more in today's show. So before we kick off, please make sure you hit that like button on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We bring you all the latest Manchester United news and opinions in one single dose. So hit that subscribe button. So let's kick off today's show with the reaction to that loss of 1-0 at Old Trafford against Crystal Palace. Now, during the week, we won 3-0 in the Carabao Cup against Crystal Palace. But in my preview show yesterday, you might have caught it, I did say that Crystal Palace had not lost to Manchester United in the last few meetings against us. They were not coming to Old Trafford to lie down and get a beating. They had actually put out a weakened team in the Carabao Cup and they were ready for this weekend's game. That's what they were going to do. We should have seen that coming. But most fans were so overjoyed as to what happened in the Carabao Cup and how we beat them decisively that we thought we're coming into this game and we're going to get a 3-0, 4-0, even 5-0 with the players coming back from injury. But that was not on the cards. Crystal Palace had laid this plan out very carefully. They knew even before they played us in the Carabao Cup that this game in the Premier League was the one they wanted to win against Manchester United away from home. So they didn't focus on the game in the Carabao Cup and they kind of put us into a false sense of security with Manchester United thinking, yes, we beat them 3-0, we're going to go ahead and beat them this weekend as well. It's just all a formality. We're going to go out there, win them, get the 3 points and walk straight back in again. That's what most of the fans thought as well. That's what we thought. We thought we'll still go in there. We've still got enough class on the pitch to go in there and win 1-2-0 against Crystal Palace and come in with all 3 points. But that did not happen. Now the questions are coming in thick and fast as to why Manchester United could not do the job on Crystal Palace at home. But we've seen this coming in the opening game to the Premier League against Wolverhampton at Old Trafford. Manchester United were very lucky to get away with winning that game. In fact, it should have been at least a draw, if not a win to Wolverhampton. And that's being honest. We as fans must accept and be honest with ourselves where Manchester United currently are. And Manchester United are nowhere near where we would like them to be. At this stage, even getting a top 4 finish for Manchester United is a distant reality. We are in serious trouble and something needs to give. What is it though? What is it that's happening at Manchester United that we're not getting these results? We should have more than enough on the pitch to go out there and win Crystal Palace. Now fans are pointing their fingers at individual players like Rashford, like Bruno, even Onana, not doing well enough for the team, not performing, not turning up on these big games, on the big times when they're needed. They're not playing well enough. They might get a goal here or there, but they're not playing well enough overall to take the team where they need to be. And in these crucial games, they're not getting any goals. They're not assisting. They're not doing what they're meant to be doing. Now, everyone concerned with Manchester United can say one thing for sure. We are not getting enough goals. We're not doing well enough in the last third of the pitch. We're just not making the decisions that are leading to goals. Manchester United are just not capable of getting goals. We've seen it. We've not scored enough goals in this season so far. We've conceded far too much and scored far too little. We've simply just not scored enough goals and we haven't got goals in that team. Rashford is not an out-and-out goal scorer. He had an exceptional season last year. We have to accept that. He's not a striker. He's someone that can create chances and create problems for the other team, but he's not our main goal scorer. And that is why Manchester United bought in Rasmus Højlund. We all knew when we signed Højlund that he was not the finished article. He will need working on, and he will need time to progress and perfect his art of scoring, and may or may not reach the potential that we've put on him right now. So who's to blame for the lack of goals in the team? Is it Bruno Fernandes, the captain, not doing his job? Is he doing too much of running around but not doing any playmaking? Is that the problem? Is it Mason Mount? What is the problem with Manchester United? Please let us know your thoughts on this topic. Drop your comments below. What do you think is the problem at Manchester United, and why are we struggling on beating teams like Crystal Palace, who we should be really beating 2-3, 5-0? We've also heard from many fans who want Erik ten Hag out of Manchester United. They do not want him to be the manager of Manchester United going forward. Now, this is a crazy statement to make because I feel he has done a good job at Manchester United. Yes, there are problems with his style of play because there is no style of play. We don't know what we're actually doing. What are Manchester United like? Are they a quick transition team? Are they sitting back and counter-attacking? We don't actually know because there's no clear, distinct style of play in each and every game. They change it up. We don't know what we're doing. So that is why I can see why many fans are not happy with Erik ten Hag and criticising him for the performances going on the pitch. And the other problem that most fans are highlighting about Erik ten Hag is the fact that his substitutions do not make sense in the game. He puts on players, switches them around, does not know exactly what he's doing, just messes the entire team up, and it just looks chaotic on the pitch. Maguire playing up front yesterday, trying to get a goal, is not what we want to see at Old Trafford. Most fans want to see a more planned out approach. Throwing Maguire up front in the last couple of minutes is not something that we want to be seeing at Manchester United. To blame an individual player or the manager, we feel is completely and utterly wrong. It will be the wrong way to look at things. It makes absolutely no sense to pick out one or two players or even the manager to blame for the entire loss yesterday. We cannot do that. It doesn't make any sense that it was a team effort and the team let us down, and the manager is included in that team. So the players and the manager are to blame for the entire loss. Every single one of those players, and the manager included, did not do their job right yesterday, and that's what led us to the loss. We cannot pick out one or two players saying that they are to blame and that player did not do well enough or this manager did not do well enough. It was a collective performance and all of them did not do well enough, and that's what we have to stick to. We have to agree as fans of Manchester United that every single one of them haven't been playing well enough and the manager did not do his job well enough. He tactically got it wrong, and that is the things that need to be sorted out at Manchester United. We need to pinpoint these things and get them resolved rather than making it all about just one player or making it about one manager. It's not that simple. It is never that simple. And we all have to accept that there is a huge injury crisis at the club at the moment, and Ten Hag is having to shift his team around and play players like Amrabat at left back when he can't bring anyone else onto the pitch. This is the biggest problem that we have currently at Manchester United, is that we have a huge injury crisis that needs to be looked into. Why are these players getting injured so quickly early on in the season? Another issue that the players and the manager are having to deal with is all the off the field antics that are going on at the moment at Manchester United. The whole Sancho thing, the whole Anthony thing, the Mason Greenwood thing, everything keeps on coming. You get over one hurdle and then you get a couple more to jump over. It seems like a never ending cycle of drama at Manchester United currently. The players are just doing things that shouldn't be happening off the field. They're getting up to all sorts which should not be happening off the field. These players need to be reined in and sorted out. Why that happened with Mason Greenwood, why the club took such a long time, why it caused so much drama, no one knows. Now the Anthony thing is going on, we've had the Sancho thing going on, and this does affect the players that are in that dressing room. Of course it does. This affects the manager, whether he tells us or not. It is affecting him behind the scenes. He is struggling with keeping his team together and focused. And as fans of Manchester United, we can all agree that Ten Hag actually overachieved in his first season at Manchester United. We were not expecting him to come in and get us Champions League. We were not expecting him to come in and get us a trophy at the the end of the season. Ten Hag overachieved, and now this season we're looking for better results, better performances, but the performances haven't improved this year. Our playstyle this year hasn't improved. We haven't got a set playstyle. We're getting beat at home by teams like Brighton, by teams like Crystal Palace, and it is not good to watch. It's horrible to watch as a fan, to hear the crowd at Old Trafford go into complete silence watching their team getting played off the park by teams like Brighton is horrendous to watch. And then seeing the manager on the sidelines not having a clue on how to deal with it is even worse. You need players out there who can play well enough and pick themselves up when they start losing, and you need a manager who actually knows what to do tactically in them situations, and they need to improve on this. Ten Hag needs to improve tactically on what he's doing on the pitch, and so do the players. The players need to keep on playing and be aggressive when they're losing. That is what's missing from this team. But the biggest elephant in the room, and we keep saying it, the biggest elephant in the room is that of the circus going around the takeover at Manchester United. There is absolutely no way that Erik ten Hag and his players are not being affected by what's going on with the takeover at the club. The manager and the players are closely monitoring what's going on with the Glazers and the takeover at Manchester United. Of course they are. It makes a huge difference to their lives. It is absolutely pivotal for their future at the club, whether the takeover happens or doesn't happen, if the Glazers stay in there or not. They know this. They know this. If a new owner is going to come in, everything at the club will change. The culture will change. Everything will end up turning upside down. And if you asked us why the performances at Manchester United have not improved and why the team has not progressed and why Ten Hag hasn't got the team playing like it should be playing, we put it straight down to the Glazers and the ownership of Manchester United and the current takeover situation. And everyone at Manchester United, including the manager, including the board, including the coaching staff, including the players, are all distracted by the circus that's going on around the takeover. The news, everything is focusing around the takeover, and it is getting too much for them, and they're losing focus on what needs to be done. Imagine if you work for a company where the owner is in the process of selling to someone else. What are you going to be focused on? Are you going to be focused on your work, or are you going to be worried about whether you're going to still be in the job? Everything at Manchester United is up in the air. There's no accountability. No one knows what they're doing and what roles they have. Everyone is confused at what is going on behind the scenes, and over in the States, the Glazers are sat there planning their next move and waiting to see what to do. But this leaves everybody in the UK, in Manchester, at Carrington, completely confused as to where they stand. And we as fans of Manchester United have lost our focus. We also lose our focus on what's going on. We've lost our focus on the actual takeover. We've started thinking about individual players not doing well enough. We want Erik ten Hag to be sacked. Why? Why are we thinking about these players? Why are we thinking about the manager, whilst the real reason for all these bad performances is that of the Glazers. The Glazers and the circus that they've caused around Manchester United and the whirlwind of news that's going around about the takeover and what's going on. It's been an absolute shambles of a takeover, and it's caused the entire fan base to be distracted as well. We don't know what's going on with the takeover. We're so sick of it that we don't want anything to do with it. We don't even want to hear about it anymore, and we want to focus on the football. But the football is not going to improve if we don't improve the ownership. That is the link to it. We need to understand there is a strong link between the owner and the performances on the pitch, and anyone who says there isn't a link is absolutely in denial. The owners set the standard at the club, they set the club values, they set the club standards, and then it feeds down to the manager, and from the manager it feeds onto the pitch. The reason why players like Maguire, players like Rashford don't care about the club or the manager, and Sancho don't care about the manager, is because the manager hasn't got the power. They ultimately know that the Glazers are in charge of this circus, and they know that the Glazers won't get rid of them. The Glazers won't pay them off. They won't do anything. The Glazers are all about money, and that's all they care about. They know Erik ten Hag ultimately does not possess the power or the authority to do anything to any of the players on the pitch, and that is the biggest problem. It's only if a player comes out and speaks up against the Glazers will they get rid of him, like they did with Ronaldo. Now, immediately after the loss to Crystal Palace at home yesterday, we started getting reports from the Sun, Neil Custis to be exact, that Manchester United are going to get bought by Sheikh Jassim, and it's all been agreed the takeover will complete in 2 weeks. Now, we're going to take this with a huge pinch of salt, and a warning sign has to be sent out there. This is the Sun. They come out with total crap about the takeover. They've been doing that for a long time, so we don't know whether this is true. We're going to wait and see if we can find some actual reliable sources to confirm this news, and if this is true. If it is true, we'll be over the moon, but it's very unlikely, because we've heard this kind of news come out again and again every time Manchester United face a loss, whether it's at home, whether it's away. Every time we're losing, we're getting this kind of news coming out, and it creates hype and it creates money for these newspapers like the Sun, who are not credible, and they come out with this kind of crap all the time. But we will reach out to other sources to see if this is the case, and if it is, we'll bring you everything in tomorrow's show. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with everything on the takeover. Coming back to Manchester United, the players, the manager, what do we need to do in our performances? Well, we need to try and focus and try and keep out all this garbage on the takeover and the off the field antics that are going on around Manchester United. They need to block that out, and we need to focus on the game. It's very easy to say and very hard to do. We all know what distraction this is causing to the players and the manager, and we just want it over with. And for those of you sat there right now saying there's no link between the owners and the performances on the pitch, well, there is a link. The link is quite clear. If you look back to the summer transfer window, Manchester United and Ten Hag wanted Harry Kane to be signed by Manchester United so they can have a goal scorer, because Eric Ten Hag knew that the biggest problem for Manchester United has been that we haven't got enough goals in the team, and that's why he wanted Kane. What happened? The owners, the Glazers, did not sanction a move for Harry Kane. We needed a goal scorer. We needed more goals in that team. And Højlund, although very good and has got great raw potential, is not the finished article just yet. And we needed someone to come in and start scoring goals immediately. We knew that. Eric Ten Hag knew that. And this is what's missing. We're all crying about the same thing now. The reason why we're crying is because we're not getting enough goals. But if there was Harry Kane in that team, we would be getting goals and we would be winning. And that is the difference the owners make to the club. If we had different owners, if we had Sheikh Jassim as the owner of Manchester United, do you doubt we would have had Harry Kane in there in that team? Or whether we would have had Osimhen in that team? We would have them in that team scoring goals for us, and we won't be crying about not scoring enough goals. And that is the key to everything going on at Manchester United. We did not do well enough in the summer transfer window. We did not back the manager, and this is the result of those actions. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to accept it or not, that is the truth. We have to accept that the players that we currently have at Manchester United are not good enough. They're not doing a good enough job, and we needed better players coming in. We needed to support Eric Ten Hag in his plans and give him what he needed. The players he knows at Manchester United are not capable of doing the job that he wants them to do. He's trying to get them to play in a way that they're not used to and may not even be capable of doing. This is the biggest problem. Like I said, we will go and check out this story on the takeover and see whether it's got some truth to it, or whether the Sun have just made it up just to get the clicks. And if they have made it up, well, that is standard by the Sun. And if they haven't, that is good news, and we will bring you a show tomorrow discussing everything around the takeover. Make sure you hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. You are watching the Man United Streamer channel by the fans for the fans.